Imagine this. You're standing in a marble palace in Rome, the scent of roasted boar and honey-drenched figs hanging in the air. Music plays, dancers whirl, goblets overflow with wine, and the emperor himself reclines on a couch covered in purple silk. All eyes are on him.
Please.
He raises his golden cup, drains it in one long swallow, and then it happens.
Splendid.
His face twists, his stomach heaves, and before the feast can continue, someone must rush forward, kneel down, and catch the emperor's vomit. Now, imagine that someone is you.
Not again.
Yes, you heard me correctly. Your job title isn't soldier, scholar, or senator. No, you are what Romans cheerfully nicknamed the vomiter, the human bucket, the imperial puke catcher. And in the hierarchy of terrible jobs in ancient Rome, slavery, gladiatorial combat, cleaning out public latrines, this one might just take the crown. Think being close to power is glamorous. Think again. In ancient Rome, being near the emperor didn't always mean privilege. It could mean humiliation. Your face would be inches away from his, your hands trembling with the basin, while the most powerful man in the world unloaded last night's oysters and peacock tongues straight into your service.
Get me
So,
another.
what happens when your entire life depends on how well you handle vomit? How did such a bizarre role even exist in the first place? And more importantly, how do you survive it without losing every shred
More
of
wine,
dignity?
you fool.
Tonight, you're not a spectator. You're not just learning about Roman history. You're stepping to it. For the next 20 minutes, you are the imperial puke catcher. Every humiliation, every rotten smell, every terrifying glance from the emperor's eyes, you will feel it. So buckle up, because history isn't all marble statues and heroic speeches. Sometimes, history is about what happens after too much wine and roasted dormice. And if you think your job sucks today, wait until you see what it meant to kneel beside a Roman emperor's banquet couch. Welcome to your life as the emperor's human vomit catcher. To understand how you ended up with this stomach-churning career, you first need to know what Roman banquets were like. Forget the quiet
Another
candle-lit
round
dinners
for
you
the
might imagine
emperor.
today. A feast
To
in
the
ancient Rome wasn't
glorious
just a meal,
feast.
it was theater, politics, and excess all rolled into one. Picture yourself stepping into a
glass, please.
triclinium, the grand Roman dining room.
Emperor.
Marble floors sparkle under lamplight. Murals of gods
More
and
wine,
conquests
more
stretch
food.
across the walls. The couches are arranged in a U-shape, and each one is draped with expensive
Excellent.
silks. Senators, generals, poets, and mistresses recline casually, sipping spiced wine while slaves hurry around with trays of exotic food. And what food it was! Romans prided themselves on abundance. Platters of flamingo tongues, stuffed dormice, roasted peacocks with feathers still attached, fish sauces so pungent you can smell them down the street. The emperor wasn't just eating. He was performing power. Every bite of luxury screamed, "I am richer, stronger, and more divine than you." But there was a problem. Roman banquets went on for hours, sometimes even days. And the guests, especially the emperor, were expected to keep eating, keep drinking, keep showing off their ability to consume more than anyone else. At some point, even the strongest stomach had to surrender.
Question me,
Here's where things got messy.
please.
Unlike the myth
master.
you might have heard, Romans didn't build vomitoriums as rooms for vomiting. The term actually meant the passageways and amphitheaters that spewed out crowds. But make no mistake, people at banquets did vomit, especially the emperor, who was usually stuffing himself with delicacies and washing it all down with gallons of wine. And when he did, somebody had to deal with it. That somebody was you. You were likely a slave, chosen not because you were strong or clever, but because you were expendable. Your role was to kneel quietly at the emperor's side with a basin, bronze if you were lucky, clay if not, and wait for the inevitable retch. You had to be quick, precise, and silent. Spill a drop on the emperor's toga, and you risked a beating, or worse. Show disgust on your face, and you might be punished for insulting the dignity of Caesar. Think of it like this.
Bring me
Today,
more wine,
people complain
slave.
about working long hours at a desk or taking orders from a rude boss. In Rome, your boss was a living god, and his bad digestion
the
was
life.
your full-time nightmare.
Just a little
And here's the
more
cruel
wine,
twist.
please.
Being close to the emperor gave you no prestige. Unlike a general, a senator, or even the emperor's barber, your job didn't make you trusted. It made you disposable. You weren't respected. You were invisible, except for the moment he leaned forward, grimaced, and made you the center of his stomach's rebellion. This is the world you live in.
Now.
Rome at its height. Power, decadence, spectacle, and you, crouched in the shadows, forever waiting for the next heave. Now, let's step into your sandals. You wake up each day knowing exactly what you are. A living basin, a silent shadow,
Why
a
is
slave
this
bound to the
empty
emperor's
again?
stomach. You don't have the luxury of dreams or ambitions. Your only job is to be present, to kneel at the right moment, and to swallow every trace of disgust along with the emperor's bile. Your morning doesn't start with hope. It starts with dread. You shuffle through the
want
marble
more
corridors of the
wine.
palace, the smell of incense hanging in the air. Other slaves carry baskets of fruit, trays of
A
wine,
banquet.
or perfumes to freshen the banquet hall. They nod at you in pity. Everyone knows your role. Everyone knows
My
you're the
emperor,
one who will
are
kneel
you all
closest to
right?
power,
Just a
and
little
yet
tired,
remain the lowest of
slave.
all. At the banquet, you take your position. You don't sit, you don't eat, you don't even blink too much. You crouch at the foot of the emperor's couch, clutching your basin. Your ears are trained on the rhythm of his breathing, the tone of his laugh, the way his words slur after too much Falernian wine. You've become an expert in the signs of oncoming disaster. He reaches for another plate,
Will
roasted
history
peacock
even
drenched in
remember my
honey.
name?
He laughs too loudly. His eyelids flutter. He gulps another cup of wine. You know what's coming. And then, the moment. His chest heaves. The chatter in the room dies down. Every eye flicks toward him. His face reddens. His hand waves you closer, and you scramble on your knees, thrusting the basin under his chin just in time. The sound fills the hall. The wet, guttural retch of an emperor. The smell hits you like a fist. Half-digested fish sauce, sour wine, burnt meat. You keep your face blank. You keep your hands steady. Because one mistake, one twitch of disgust, one drop splattering on his toga, and you're finished. When it's done, you bow low, back away, and carry the basin out, your body trembling, your stomach churning. Another slave will empty it, but you will never wash away the shame. You've just been face to face with the ugliest truth of power. Emperors might look divine on their statues, but at the table, they're just men with weak stomachs. You live for years like this, a silent companion to vomit. You begin to recognize the banquets by smell alone. The strong reek of garlic tells you tonight will be messy. The sour sweetness of figs warns you to stay alert. Every feast becomes a gamble with your nerves. And yet, danger doesn't come only from vomit. It comes from politics. Think about it. Emperors weren't stable. Some were cruel, paranoid, or outright mad. Caligula, for example, might vomit into your basin one moment and then demand you be whipped the next, simply for existing. Nero could spill wine down your back and laugh at your humiliation while Rome burned. Domitian might interpret your trembling as disrespect and have you tossed to the dogs. You, the human vomit catcher, are always walking a tightrope. Too visible, and you risk offending the emperor's pride. Too invisible, and you risk being forgotten, replaced, discarded, or executed as a form of entertainment. And let's not forget humiliation. Do you know what it feels like to have senators glance at you with disgust, even as they themselves are elbow deep in roast goose? You're a joke, a prop in the theater of power. The elite laugh quietly, covering their mouths, while you kneel with your bronze basin, eyes lowered, face red with shame. But here's the cruel irony. You see more of the emperor than almost anyone else. You are closer to him than generals, closer than advisors, closer than lovers. You witness his weakness, his humanity, the moment when the mask of godlike authority slips and he is just another man groaning into a bowl. You know the emperor in ways no historian ever could. But this knowledge isn't power. It's poison. Because if you speak of it, you're dead. At night, when the palace finally falls silent, you lie awake on your straw mat, staring at the ceiling. Your mind races. How long can you endure this? Is there a way out? Perhaps you dream of slipping away into the streets of Rome, of disappearing into the crowds, of becoming just another anonymous figure in the empire's endless machine. But you know escape is impossible. You belong to him. His stomach owns you. The humiliation twists you inside out. Sometimes you laugh bitterly, wondering if history will even remember you. Will future generations know that while emperors were praised for their conquests and temples, someone had to kneel at their side, catching the proof of their gluttony? Or will you, like all slaves, vanish into silence? Every banquet chips away at your dignity. Every wretch reminds you of your place. You are not a man, not even a slave with a craft or skill. You are a vessel, a bucket in human form. And still, tomorrow, you'll rise again, basin in hand, ready to kneel before Rome's most powerful man and wait for the inevitable sound that defines your life, the emperor's stomach turning. One night, the banquet changes. The laughter is sharper, the wine darker. Rumors have swirled for weeks, plots in the Senate, a general losing favor, a freedman who wants the emperor's seat. You can feel it in the air. The jokes are edged with poison. Tonight the emperor is more volatile. He eats as if to silence fear. He drinks as if to drown it. Halfway through the feast, a dish is brought that smells oddly metallic. The emperor perks up, eyes bright, not with joy but with suspicion. He samples a bite, his throat tightens, and for the first time you notice his pupils dilate like an animal cornered. Someone across the triclinium whispers a name, an enemy. The laughter dies. The court turns into a jury. His hand shakes. He gags. You slide the basin beneath his chin because muscle memory refuses to fail you. He spits into the bowl, then glares at you as if you had chosen his fate. In that glance there is a calculation, a ruler weighing bodies like tokens. You realize, in a flash colder than any winter, that your proximity is dangerous in more ways than one. You have seen too much. The way he flinches at certain names, the way his favorite slave avoids a general's stare. If a conspiracy succeeds, the first to be sacrificed might not be a senator. It could be you, evidence disposed, witness removed. Sometimes the most humiliating role turns into the most precarious one. You are not just the emperor's vomit catcher. You are his living secret keeper. And in Rome, a keeper of secrets is a possibility and a threat. Tonight, the emperor points not only at a traitor but at anyone near enough to be used, anyone expendable. You grip your basin so tight your knuckles ache. You pray silently that the next wretch will be the only sound you must answer for. When dawn finds you, the palace is a graveyard of whispered decisions. The accused are dragged away. The emperor's hand is steadier, or perhaps everyone around him is simply quieter. You return to your corner with the basin still warm from last night's horrors. The pattern of your life continues. Humiliation, service, peril. Yet something has shifted. You are part of a court that can end lives with a nom and erase faces like footprints. What is your legacy? If you survive, you remain invisible, a footnote in chronicles written by men who never. So tell me, would you trade a modern 9-to-5 for a place beside the emperor's couch? Would you risk a Leo